Array list. The array list is a class. It can be also called as a resizable array, which is found basically inside the java.util package. So when you are supposed to use one array list class, you need to import this statement, import java.util.arraylist, which will enable the use of the array list throughout the program. Then here, the difference between a built-in array and an array list in Java is that the size of an array cannot be modified, while we can add or remove from an array list whenever we want. That's the basic difference between the built-in array and the array list in Java. Now, to understand the syntax of it, um, let's see one example. Here, we need first the import statement to use an array list. Now, suppose we are creating one array list object. Always, while you create one array list, you need an object rather than a simple member variable. You need to create one array list object, and this is supposed to be written in this way: the array list keyword, then which type of data that you are going to store inside the array list cars. Here, suppose it's string, so always you need to use the abstract class for the data type that you are using inside the class. So for the abstract type, for the string built-in type, the abstract type class is string here. And the syntax for creating it new array list string again, and a function parenthesis and semicolon. So this enables the creation of array list. Okay, now let's understand some of the methods that are being used inside the array list through one example. Okay, so here I have imported the array list java.util.arraylist. Then inside the main function, we are creating the cars array list object. Then add method. So add method adds the elements into the array list. So you are using the add function and adding the Volvo BMW as two elements into the array list. So when I run the program, first add function will enable the Volvo and BMW to be inserted or inputted to the cars object. So that's why you are having these two elements in the array list. Now the get method. So to access an element in the array list, and this is the way it is supposed to be written, you need to use the index number. So let's suppose you want to print the Volvo element in the array list. So the index is 0, and for BMW the index is 1. So that's why you are using index 0. So the array list object name, dot operator, get function, and from which index you want to retrieve the element. Now to modify an element, you need the set method, cards.set method, then from which index you want to modify, and then what element you want to modify to. So here, so the cars needs to be modified in which position in the index 0 with Opel. So here in the place of Volvo, you are having Opel right now, and the second position you have BMW as it has not been changed. Now you want to remove an element, so just use the remove and the index, and after removing the index 0th element, so it deletes or removes the Opel and only have BMW inside it. Now to print the size, so just use the array list object dot operator and size function. So currently it has only one element, that's why it is showing 1. Now let's suppose you want to iterate through the array list. Then what to do? You need to use one for loop, and this is the way it's supposed to be used. Start with the index 0, okay, as you do in the case of array also, and use the size of the array list, and then only you are able to print all the element using the get function. And for iterating over the array list, you need the index I.